Hey, it's Tori, and welcome back to my channel. Today we welcome the lovely Margarita Monet from Edge of Paradise to the channel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for taking the time out and for being here. Of course, your band has a brand new album coming out called Prophecy on March 7th via Napalm Records. You've already released your first single, which was Death Note, and had that music video out. How have you found that response from your fan base or from perhaps people who may just be finding your band during this release?
Well, so far, we're very grateful. This response has been very positive. People are rocking out with us. So we're excited that we're finally releasing new music. And especially this release is very special to us. So far, it's been really exciting.
You also helped co-direct that music video. What was that like to also, not only are you acting and performing in the music video, but then you also have to put your director shoes on and help with that. How was that?
It's always a very special to me, especially this is our, I think, fourth video working with guys at the No Face Studio production. So we're a really good team now. They really understand me. When creating the songs, I always have vision in my head where the storyline is going. I've always been a very visual person, so I kind of imagine the world of the song, the settings. So bringing it to life is kind of like the next step for me. Um, so, it's a bit of a stressful process sometimes just because I really want to, bring the vision to life. But I'm lucky that, people we work with, they're so talented and so creative that they just kind of go into it head on and create something out of nothing basically.
Yeah,
So
no, it's nice to have to find a team that understands what you want to do with your vision, and that helps you also push yourself to be more creative as well, even though you're doing like so many things at once because you are also the front woman and you have to, of course, lip sync along to your song, and then also if something's happening and you're like, wait, I wanted this to be this way and this to be that way, and
yeah, this one was fun. Like uh Alan, he's our art department, which is such an important part because this video we filmed in front of the LED screen, which
Mhm.
gave us a lot of space to be creative because there's so many. You're basically limitless when you have a
Right.
LED screen without behind you. But Alan always brings it to the next level because he builds the world around, build the set design and the props that he created for this video. It was really just kind of brought it all together. And then the black goo he created that was covered at the end of the video. Yeah, it was, I think it really came together. So it definitely makes a difference, the people you work with.
Absolutely, absolutely. Could you tell us in your own words what this album is about and what it represents for you personally?
For me, well, personally, this is kind of um, it summarizes all the albums that we've had before. That's why Prophecy makes so much more sense to me as um, just thinking about the history of the band, and the storyline. Like for the last album, Hologram, I wrote a graphic novel which kind of dives deeper into the story. So this album, everything kind of comes face to face. So previous albums kind of set the ground for the futuristic settings, the themes, kind of the merger of technology and consciousness. So, like with the unknown, the setting it was painted kind of um, where I presented this idea of, what if we can exist through a binary code? What if our answer to living forever is basically merging ourselves? It's a digital world,
Hmm.
and it's up to the listener to decide whether it's a positive or a negative. then with hologram, kind of takes it a bit further, creating this world where holographic technology exists, where it makes humans pretty much limitless. We can experience anything we'd like through this technology, but then there's so many implications that go along with it. Now with prophecy, it all comes face to head on,
Hmm.
and it kind of shares my viewpoint, which is that I feel like consciousness is what makes up the fabric of the universe, and AI is kind of created on this. The core of AI, well, in this story, is that it's based in um, wanting to conquer and expand, kind of like that human innate want throughout history to
Hmm.
power, and so AI exponentially just keeps expanding and conquering the universe basically by overtaking consciousness. So in the story, the danger is that the fabric of the cosmos is basically going to be overtaken by AI, which will implode. Basically, the universe is going to implode. So
Hmm.
there's very high in this album, and it's also the most personal and vulnerable, I think, where like one of the songs, Hear Me, it's just me and the piano. Some of the words, like some of the things I feel, I don't think I've ever said before. So it's definitely the most vulnerable album for me as well. But yeah.
Yeah. So how did you yourself get into the sci-fi side of things? Did it start out when very young, or is this something that's built in your teen years, or how did that come about?
Well, I've always liked sci-fi. I remember
Uh-huh.
I was 5 or 6 watching X-Files.
Uh-huh.
And then, Star Trek, I've always liked it, but also my dad is a scientist, so I've always had two ways to look at it, like my science fiction lover in me, and also I really love learning about new technologies. I look at it from all perspectives. I like to ask questions about it. So I'm very I love reading about genetics, like human body and mind really fascinates me. So I really like to know as much as I can. And then I love music and art. So, that kind of, I could never break away from it. So it
Yeah.
became life. But my love for science, I think it's my way of incorporating that into my life as well.
No, I think it's really cool when an artist like yourself has like this passion, but they also bring that into the storyline of your albums and your music, and it's just because I don't know, it gives us the listener that escapism as well, and somebody who may not necessarily be into much sci-fi may come into the band and be like, wait, actually this is a really cool form to deliver it and to give it to the audience.
Thank you. Yeah. And also, I think right now we live kind of on the brink of science fiction a little bit.
Yeah.
So a lot of things in the album, it's not far off from reality. It's just taking it a bit further and showing what could be with different scenarios. And just, I really want our music to be thought provoking and to
Hmm.
spark conversation, but also have a positive light to it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but thank you.
Yeah. No, I live with a huge Trekkie. My husband is a big Trekkie. If you could see, like, I am surrounded by these bookshelves, and if you could see this side, it's all like Star Trek memorabilia and stuff. So I'm like, when you first reached out to me and I checked out your band, I was like, oh, he is gonna absolutely love this. And then I fell in love with you, and your voice it's so different yet magnificent, and you put across so many emotions within your voice. Do you feel that's an important thing to do so that people can connect with your music in that way?
Uh, well, first, thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you. By the way, I love watching your reaction
Oh,
videos.
thank
You
you.
have passion. Yeah, so. But for me, it's always been important. because I didn't start off as a singer.
Mhm.
I'm a classical pianist growing up. My background's in theater. So when I started singing, I think for me the driving force was to bring emotion into each word. And that led me to evolve my voice because I was hearing things in my head and I was like, well, I want to, do it with this attitude, or I'm hearing that note. So I was like, how do I make it happen? And by just practicing or singing and being very bad at the beginning, like when I listened to our very first songs, I'm like, who is that? So I think it really helped me evolve as a singer, and there's no limit. So I think the driving force for me is just the love, the passion, and just the feeling behind it.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing too. I mean, we all have to start somewhere. I look back at the beginning of my reaction channel, I'm like, oh my God, so cringy, But like you say, we all grow and we all keep evolving, hopefully, because I feel like if we don't keep evolving, then we're just going to stay linear and we're going to stay stale and it's not going to go anywhere. And I like that you recognize that within yourself.
Yeah, and I think it applies to a lot of things in life.
Yeah. For sure. What was the creative process like for you when it comes to like the songwriting and the composition of your songs?
So for this one, we were well, for the few last albums, we were kind of on a time crunch. So I start a lot of the songs on the keyboard. When I think if you were to hear a demo, it sounds more like a movie soundtrack with some singing. Because I really love to put as many keyboard layers, strings, electronic elements, and just kind of be immersed in the soundscapes.
Hmm.
The music inspires the words for me, it inspires the melodies. For this record, we also had Doug, who brought in an 8-string guitar that we never had before. So when I have an idea, Dave and Doug, they make it more rock.
Hmm.
Uh, so when I go in to sing, we do everything backwards. I put the vocals first, but it gives me enough to know what the song is going to be like. And it gives me kind of enough energy where I can sing it for real. And then once we finalize the vocal track, we go back, and then the whole band comes in and takes the song to where it's supposed to be. Jamie writes the drum track where it really brings the energy together. Then Dave and Doug, it was a process to figure out how to merge the two guitar styles because they're like, well, we can't play the same thing, it's going to be messy, so what are we going to do? Because it's kind of the first time when we had such um, both guitar players kind of bringing their all into our songs, because before it was mainly Dave doing most of the guitars. So now, Doug really brought the new level of um, power to the songs with the riffs and some of the layers, and then it gave Dave even more room to really expand his style of playing, with more layers, especially in the choruses.
Hmm.
The solos. Some of the songs don't have solos, but those songs that actually don't have solos, they take up a lot more time to figure out what layers, what elements, like the riffs, like the rhythmic element. For us, it's very important that the rhythms really define like the verses, then bring it into the chorus. So everything is very because the songs are a little more complex, but I want them to be accessible.
Hmm.
So just yeah, it takes time to really mold the song into what it is. And then with Kenny, the bass is very important to us. The low element, my voice is high, so we really need the low elements to kind of merge merge everything and give it power. And then, sending it off to Jacob Hansen in Denmark. He does his magic with the mixing, and that's like the most, my favorite time is to, hear the song, the mix. When he sends us that first mix, I'm like, wow. It's just feels so good because after all the work, it's like building a house almost, and then you hear back the final product. Um, I really like that feeling.
Yeah. It's got to be magical because like you say you spend so much time building these songs, these babies of yours if you will, and then you send them off and they come back and they're complete and that feeling of hearing it for the first time, it's kind of like us hearing it for the first time where it's like, wow, this is amazing. And I love how you mentioned the guitarists Dave and Doug and how they started bouncing off of each other with their ideas and being able to push themselves even more with that creativity. I think that's a fun aspect too.
Well, I think for Dave, it was, now you bringing in another guitar player that's making Dave like, oh my God, I gotta like really something here.
So where do you draw your inspiration from? Is it something that's just like naturally occurring, or is it something like if you sit down and watch a movie or a TV show, or you read something, or you just see something in everyday life? Like how does that work for you?
I think it's a mix of all those things. Um, well, I definitely have the storyline in my head where I want to continue those themes through the records. And then honestly, when going into the album, I'm always like, am I ever gonna be able to come up with another song? It's my biggest fear is that if I run out of ideas. But I think if you keep living, things keep happening, and then you keep having viewpoints, you keep having feelings about things. The For me also inspiration is where the world is going, just
Hmm.
the evolution of our society, all the changing things that are happening, and how it impacts us and how it makes me feel. And it always gives me ideas, but sometimes I do get ideas from a TV show. Like for example, for the last record, I was obsessed with the show Dark, and then
Hmm.
it's the song Dark, but it's not even I mean, it's not even the themes, it's more of like the feeling that I got from watching it.
Yeah.
it I brought that into the next song. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that because I love to sit down and watch a good TV show or a movie, and then sometimes you're just kind of left feeling the sense. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's nice to be able to put those feelings and those emotions into song form and use that to then deliver that to your audience and your fan base and have that out into the world because it, it's it's hard sometimes when you're watching something and you just get so excited and you want to share it with somebody, but then you're like, wait, how am I going to do that? But then you went ahead and you pushed it a little further and you wrote a song about that, and I think that's so special.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I just want to deviate a little bit away from music because you did mention you are a very creative person. Have you always been very creative since you were very little, or like also with your art style? It's so different to what I've seen, and I absolutely love it. How did you get into doing that kind of art?
Well, thank you. Um, I I think I was always drawing or painting growing up. My mom does a lot of art, so I think everything is my mom's fault. Yeah, she introduced me to art. I lived in Moscow till I was 11,
Hmm.
and in Moscow, you also in schools they would take us to museums, like on field trips. So I was surrounded by it, and then I remember going to my first play when I was like 3 or 4. So that was just part of life. I would always, we would always go to museums, go to plays, go to ballets, operas. It was like a multiple time of week type of a
Hmm.
thing. So I think that really, I fell in love with it and I just wanted it to be my life. And then I started, doing all the lessons and all of that too. So I think it's all part of what maybe how I grew up and what I like, and then kind of putting my own spin into it. Because the reason I started painting, because I didn't do it for a very long time. And I went to college, I moved to LA. Like that was the last thing on my mind. And then I don't know, I kind of started to miss it. And I always like dragons. So one time I drew a dragon and I
Hmm.
posted on Facebook and someone wanted to buy it. And I was like, what? I was like, well, maybe, and someone asked me to make another one. So I was like, okay. So then I made another one. And then I was like, wow, I really missed it. And then I was like, well, maybe, and I don't think even I planned it. It was just like, I was listening or I was working on a song and I was like, well, it just kind of inspired me to paint something that's inspired by the song. And then it kind of started from there. And I think for Universe, I'm like, well, I want to make something special for the like first edition packages. So I got these wooden boxes and I painted them. So every song had a wooden box with its own painting on top. And then for the Unknown album, I did a painting for every song. And then, yeah, it just kind of started like that. And it gave me so much joy to do it because for me, I always wanted the band to be multi-dimensional. Um, and of course, like I was like, we want to have music videos that are like mini movies,
Hmm.
and I want the stage show. As the band grows, I want it to be more and more of an experience. Then now, with the art. So I want to have that visual dimension that I can develop as much as I can. So the band is kind of an experience overall that people can kind of come to Edge of Paradise and they are immersed in our world. And it's positive and inspiring and thought-provoking experience. Because that's what I like. I like to have, be inspired by something that I'm seeing, something that I'm hearing. Um, yeah, so
Yeah.
just something I like to do, I guess.
Well, that's why I fell in love with your band because it is an experience and it is a way to escape into a different world just for the time being. And then I came to, of course, follow you on your personal social medias and then saw how creative and talented you were with your art and of course being invited to conventions and all of that. I'm a big I love cosplay and going to conventions and things like that. So it just really, really spoke to me. And I was like, oh, she's like me. She's into all of this stuff. And it made me excited to talk with you today. Um, Going back to the album, of course, what do you hope listeners take away from listening to your music?
Well, with this album, I think we're living in a lot of uncertain times, especially with the AI kind
Hmm.
of taking over a lot of space. It's kind of powering our society in a lot of ways. And I think it can come across as threatening, especially like what I remember to me, I'm like, okay, you can press a button and it just
Hmm.
makes a song, or an art piece in a second. So, but then it made me realize that um, humans, we have something special. There's like a superpower we possess that we can create something out of nothing. Um, AI creates something out of what's already there. So but the dangers, I think, is not even AI taking over what we can do, but it's diminishing our inspiration.
Yeah.
Because if we feel like almost defeated by
Hmm.
technology, then I think that's the dangerous part where it can take over. Like in Death Note, part of it, it's all happening in the mind. Like the AI is basically taking over consciousness and gaining control, and the mind is, fighting it. So I think overall, there's a lot of themes to explore in the album, but I think overall, prophecy is that face-off between consciousness and and AI. And to me, I think there's something very powerful, very strong about consciousness and human mind that we probably don't even know.
Hmm.
And with all of this technology, it's gonna unlock more more things within us that we're gonna learn about ourselves to make ourselves more powerful inside.
Yeah. Well, I think we as human beings tend to take for granted the fact that we do have these emotions and that we are able to come up with these different concepts. And like you say, AI, you push a button, but it's taking information that's already available. Whereas we as human beings can create these different scenarios and worlds out of thin air, out of nothing, out of what's in here. And I think that's amazing. It's such a powerful tool.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's important that we remember that because the world is going to change. It's already changing so much. So I hope it's just my part to keep people hopefully inspire and empower in the little way that I can.
So, of course, you're about to get ready to go out on tour with Delane and Zandria. How do you take care of yourself? Not only is it very emotionally draining, but it's also very physically demanding on your body. What do you do to avoid burnout?
Yeah, surviving a tour. Yeah, I had a song about it. Well, this tour, I think, well, when you have a tour bus, it's a little easier because you kind of know what to expect. Um, we've done a lot of tours that we travel ourselves and we have to figure everything
Hmm.
out on the spot, so that's difficult. So for me, I think it's important that, um, well, sleeping. Like sometimes I'm thinking, how did bands do it? Like party all night. Know, like when you think someone I'm in a band, like, oh, you're partying all the time. I'm like, how would you be able to do it? Because it's so physically demanding. It's so emotionally, you have to really be on top of your game. You get to the venue, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, maybe you have some time to grab coffee. And then it's sound check, setting everything up, making sure everything works, make sure you didn't lose anything. Then sound checking, and then the show starts and it's just nonstop. And then, on stage, I put so much of myself, into each show because I really love performing. But yeah, it's like a very intense workout, I would say. And then also, we really love to meet people after the shows. So we're there in the audience, with people pretty much until closing.
Hmm.
We try to get food, but our day is really from 1 o'clock to 1 a.m. 1 p.m. to it's a 12-hour day. And I think it's just the adrenaline kind of keeps us alive. And a lot of people sometimes get sick, or that's just part of touring. So I always bring a ton of stuff with me. There's always some throat sprays, vitamin C. I like to, well, I brought the vapor thing where you breathe
Hmm.
in. I only use it like twice because sometimes you're just so tired and I don't want to use this thing. But
Hmm.
so maybe also mentally preparing yourself that I am prepared for this, and your mind kind of gets you through it. Um, I think big part is the adrenaline probably helps your body to make it through because there's not much sleep. So I actually, some people can't sleep on the tour bus. I actually like to sleep to the moving
Hmm.
bus. I'm kind of crazy to sleep a little. But there's really not that much sleep you get on tour. So it's important to just try to, eat as healthy as you can. And I don't drink, I don't do anything basically. I just, go to sleep, wake up, go to the venue, start the day. Like to explore the city as much as I can, maybe have like half hour to an
Hmm.
hour, look around a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of how it happens.
Well, I mean, I'm going to offer this to you now. My husband and I will be driving up the night before if at the Atlanta show. If you guys need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will, because we'll have our car. So if you need to go anywhere or if you need anything brought, just message me and we'll get it brought to you guys.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you. I'm really excited to meet you.
I'm
Me-
excited too. It's such a fantastic lineup. You've got yourselves, Zandria and Delane. I am so excited. Like I mean, your band is fast becoming one of my favorites just because of your creativity, and then you're such wonderful people. Like I've had interactions with Doug previously with with one of his other projects, and I'm excited to meet him too. And it's just gonna be such a wonderful night, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And I can't wait to introduce you to everyone. So,
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So, what are your plans for the rest of you?
well, there's going to be, we have more music videos that we're working on. I'm working on the graphic novel part 2. Then more touring. I think we're going to go back to Europe this year. Hopefully, we'll make it to Mexico and South America. We've been really wanting to get there. Um, I really want to go back to Japan, Australia. I want to go. I've never been to Australia. I would love to go there. And yeah, I think it's going to be a year of touring for us. Um, just building our live show. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer, Margarita. Do you have any last words for anybody watching this interview, just of thanks or anything like that?
Well, I wanted to show you. I haven't really posted about this, but I'm going to be doing a giveaway of
Oh, nice.
a canvas this big before, and I'm not completely done with it, but it's
Wow.
going to be a giveaway canvas for prophecy. If you can see it, but yeah, so I've been working on it for a while, and I think it would be like a fun thing to do that um, kind of brings the music and the art together, and yeah, see who the winner is. Maybe I'll bring it on tour.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, so we always like to do some fun giveaways. Last time we gave away a guitar. Um, this time it'll be the painting. And but yeah, I just want to thank you for having me and thank you everyone for listening and checking out the videos and the music. We're very grateful for people that support us because that's why we're able to continue. So thank you everyone so much.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time to be with me here today. I will leave the pre order link to the album Prophecy down below in the description. Please go ahead, pre order. I will also leave all of the band's social media links and everything like that so you can find them, follow them, subscribe, all of that stuff. It really does help. And again, Margarita, thank you so much. It was really wonderful getting to chat to you.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure, and I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a Taurian. Speaking of becoming a Taurian, all of my social media links and my Discord link are down below in the description. We'd absolutely love to have you come hang out in the Discord community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Rock on.